Hey guys, Explorer One. So let's talk a little bit about presidential candidate Ben Carson, or as most people call him, Dr. Ben Carson, because of course, if you're a doctor, you're much smarter and more apt to know what you're doing, right? Whatever. So most of you would probably be saying to yourself right now, why does it even matter? Politics is all rigged. It's all just theater. And you'd be right. But I do think that it's still important to take a look at these people so we know who they're promoting and what some of the possibilities are for what's coming down the road. I personally don't think that anyone that gets to be a serious candidate, sort of serious contender, isn't part of the game, if you know what I mean. So what's weird about him to me is that he sort of came out of nowhere. I mean, he's a respected doctor that did this conjoined twin separation and developed a technique for controlling brain seizures. And this earned him the Medal of Freedom for Medicine in 2008 by George W. Bush. Now, what I find interesting about this is that this could be the beginning of putting him into the scene, whether they're going to use him for full-on president or whether he becomes maybe a VP for Trump or whoever else. I think this was sort of setting the stage to inject him into the political scene and build up his name and his resume. People will become familiar with him and get that sort of programming that the masses, that they feel the masses need in order to feel like you're in control, in order for people to feel like, oh, well, I remember that guy. He won such and such and he did this. They have to keep the illusion alive and well, right? And as a brief side note, this here is the Medal of Freedom. This is the actual medal. Do you see anything in this image that is sort of hidden or maybe hidden in plain sight? Yep, it's the Zionist six-pointed star in the center, and then this eagle here. What does that remind you of? Ironically, it looks like the Nazi eagle. I just thought that was a pretty funny thing. I mean, truly, all of these groups are all really using the same ancient symbolism, these same esoteric symbolism, and they all really come from the same place, even though you would be uh, led to believe otherwise. Now let's go back to Ben Carson. So how was it that Ben Carson went to someone that was a presidential candidate basically out of nowhere? Well, in 2013, he was invited to the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C., where he gave a speech, and then somehow he became a popular conservative figure. Of course, this stuff all plays out exactly how it's planned, exactly how it's supposed to be, and he was invited there during the reign of Obama. So I just find that kind of funny. And I'm not saying that Obama invited him or something like that. I mean, who knows, right? But it is held in front of, it is hosted by the United States Congress, and the president has always participated in the event ever since Dwight D. Eisenhower. So this is all of the elite that gather, and of course, in all likelihood, it was orchestrated that he would sort of get this, rah, rah, let's go speech, and then he would become a contender, right? So is Dr. Ben Carson a member of Skull and Bones, the infamous secret society that both Bush and Kerry, as well as many others, have come from? Well, it's complicated. I'm going to speculate that he is likely a Skull and Bones member. However, it's fairly difficult to verify that now because they no longer do a complete listing of members since 1982. They learned their lesson the hard way because people started making a big deal out of Bush being part of Skull and Bones, and it started getting some unignorable media attention. And so they no longer publish a complete list. No official rosters published after 1982 and for years later is speculative. So that's what we're doing. We're speculating. So why do I think he could be a member of Skull and Bones? Well, number one, he attended Yale. That's indisputable fact. Number two, he's a doctor, and yeah, he did separate conjoined twins, but a lot of doctors do amazing things, and they don't all get honored by previous Skull and Bones members as he was by President Bush in 2008. So, in my opinion, there's a very, very good likelihood that he is a member of Skull and Bones. Now, some of you may be saying to yourself, well, I thought Skull and Bones was rich, elite, white, male members of Yale that were tapped. And up until a certain time frame, that may have been correct. However, Skull and Bones is not just for white dudes anymore. They have officially announced that they accept all types of people, and this article even goes on to discuss the possibility of LGBT. So, and gay students, of course. I guess they already have 2 gay students. So the same sort of agendas we see playing out in our media with the LGBT stuff is also coming straight out of these secret societies where they're participating in that as well. So it is definitely possible that he was part of it, even from the race standpoint, for people that thought that that was not possible. And I'll list this link down below. This website here is claiming that Ben Carson was a Yale board trustee from 1997 to 2003, and what they are proposing is that you cannot be a Yale board trustee unless you are pretty high up in the New World Order. I mean, other trustees would be like Janet Yellen. I mean, there's a whole list of people that have been past Yale trustees that are well-known names. I mean, FBI, Department of Justice, very high up in these positions. So what he is proposing is that even if he is not specifically a Skull and Bones member, just him being a board trustee for that length of time shows that he was being groomed to have some sort of important role in whatever New World Order globalization agenda that they are trying to roll out. So I'll link this article below. I have noticed in my own extended family, people that are still believe in the system and things like that, that they are gravitating towards Dr. Ben Carson now. I noticed that a lot of people in the church and Christians that still have faith in the political system, and their eyes aren't awake and aware, this is the person that they are gravitating towards. So I wanted to make this video just to point out some of these things in case you have family or friends that you want to pass this on to. It may not be at the point of discussing all the things that we talk about, but maybe you could take an objective look at why there's a good possibility that even though he's talking a good game now, he is clearly linked to people in the past that have, well, for lack of a better term, destroyed our country. So thanks for exploring, and I'll see you on the next one.